So I've been sitting here working on a new long-form video, which is very much a return to form in terms of getting back to my original YouTube presence, responding passionately and vociferously to extreme evangelical Christians who wanted to incorporate their beliefs into secular law by way of government force. And as I was doing that, I was thinking a lot about a video that I made a few months ago called Regarding My Atheism, in which I stated that I no longer wish to be identified as an atheist. And I didn't think that that would create as much of a stir as it did. But I wanted to try to offer some perspective because these thoughts were in my head as I worked on this video, and realizing also that this was probably going to perplex a lot of people, that I would be taking the positions I take in this video I'm working on while no longer identifying as an atheist, because I'm going to be arguing passionately in favor of a secular, rational worldview. So I wanted to try to get a little bit at the heart of what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to give you some answers, but I already know they're not going to be the answers you want. Case in point, when I put up the original video regarding my atheism video, the first comment that I got from somebody, the first comment that somebody put up was, "So what convinced you?" And at the risk of sounding like a Zen master, that person really just didn't understand the question. I stopped trying to be convinced, or stopped expecting to be convinced, and decided to go on a journey. That was all. And that it was like I argued this. I pointed this out to a person that I was talking to privately about this, who asked me much the same question. And I said, you know, I felt like for a long time being an atheist just felt like there was this door that I was holding shut inside of me. And I just decided I didn't want to hold that door shut anymore. As C.S. Lewis put it, a young man who wishes to remain a sound atheist can never be too careful of his reading. So, what led me to go on this journey? Well, those who know me and who have followed my channel know that a few years ago, I made a lot of really bad decisions about who I associated with and why, about how I presented my beliefs and why, about how I carried myself in the public eye and why. And when I hit rock bottom and realized just how much I had lost and how far I had fallen, I realized that the only thing I could do was seriously look into myself. And seriously look into myself and start an inward journey. And as I went back within myself, I realized that so many of the mistakes I had made had come as a result of being a person who thought he already had all the answers. And, you know, I let myself start to think that because as I achieved a certain degree of YouTube celebrity, if you will, or e-fame or whatever, and people started coming to me with questions about, what do I do about this, that, or the other in my life, and you're telling me you're so insightful. And people took I've gotten emails from people who said, well, I did a college presentation on the story you wrote or on your novel or something, like things like that. And that blows my mind. And I'm still honored by that, by the way. I still really appreciate that, and I think that's incredible. But I let that start to corrode who I was. And when I got down to it, I went down to, because being on YouTube has done a lot of wonderful things for me, but it's also done a lot of horrible things for me. And when I got down to it, as I peeled back the layers and the layers and the layers and looked at myself with honest critique, I realized that when I started YouTube, I had gotten into it as an atheist doing atheist commentary and developed my initial following that way. And I realized something, which was, Friedrich, and this statement comes up in the video I'm working on now, which is what made me start thinking about it. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "I never really hated the one true God, but the God of the people I hated." And I realized that so resonated with me, because I got into YouTube doing commentary on Venom Fang X and Z Cooker 88 and Jesus Freak 777 and all these other guys with numbers in their names that have faded into obscurity. And, as I thought about it, I let my strong opposition to those guys, to those people and their views, which I still think are redolent, I let my strong opposition to their worldviews, or at least what I interpreted their worldviews to be fair, my interpretation of that, I let those things take me off of my own journey. And I had always been, at best, confused and mystified by the idea of spirituality, and had never really embraced or understood it. And I realized that when I started doing YouTube videos, I was very incomplete in my thoughts. And I let those people that I didn't like drive me in one particular direction. Now, the thing is, this is why I emphasized in my previous video on the subject that my worldview has not changed. I want to be very clear about that. I am still very, very much of the opinion that church and state should remain completely separate, that religion has no place in science class, that religion should not be, people should not be using their religion to invoke the power and authority of the government to control other people's medical decisions and things like that. If I get sick, I'm going to the hospital, not the church, all of these things. But there was a level of personal growth that I needed to undertake. And I'm embarrassed that I'm undertaking that personal growth in my mid-30s when I should have done it in my early 20s. But I'm doing it, and I'm on that course. And that was why I stopped holding that door shut. Now, I know that doesn't answer any questions about what it is I actually believe. And that part of it I would like to keep private for a few reasons. One is that I know that the minute I start putting out there what I believe, it will go under the microscope and get dissected, as well it should. And I acknowledge that it is hypocritical of me to withhold what I believe on those grounds when I have been so hypercritical of what other people have believed. But in light of what I'm trying to accomplish personally, it's very important to me that I do that, that I remain, that this remain a very private matter for me. And secondly, because I do not want to be a professional commentator on this matter. You know, I post my videos to my Patreon. I make money off of them. I'm going to post this one, you know, and so I don't want to go down the road of being a professional commentator on this. There are channels out there that do really good spiritual commentary. Check out Inspiring Philosophy. Check out the 10-Minute Bible Hour. Those are two channels that argue that discuss spirituality from a Christian point of view, and there are other channels that do discuss it from other interesting perspectives, and I'm not negating those. Those two come to mind because I've watched them recently. But they actually offer intelligent, insightful discussions, and they are not moralistic. They're not shoving their beliefs down your throat. They're more talking about, you know, spiritual concepts and ideas and matters of personal growth and that sort of thing. And I really like that, and I appreciate that. But what and so I would refer you to other channels like that if you want to find people who are making thoughtful, intelligent commentary on matters of spirituality. They are out there, and they're certainly out there, and they can certainly be found. But I don't want to become a professional commentator in this matter because I don't want this to be something where I am offering answers to people. Especially when not only am I still looking for answers, but part of what I'm going through is realizing that those answers are going to be lifelong and that they will be lived and that the journey will be the destination. So the only advice I can give you is to go on your own journey, to walk your own path and find what works for you. And I'm not going to add any kind of dimension to what that might be. I do want to do, there are videos I want to do, like in this current discussion that I've been doing about abortion. I would like to do, I have a video idea I want to do called Abortion and the Christ. And I say abortion and the Christ, not abortion and Christianity, because I think there's an important distinction to be made between the concept of Jesus Christ either as a historical figure or just as an archetypal symbol, and the religious edifice that was created around him. That's not necessarily pushing my beliefs or anything like that, or trying to be a religious authority. It's trying to open a realm of hopefully philosophical discussion on an important matter of, you know, current events and that sort of thing. But I do not want to be offering spiritual guidance or anything like that. As I said, the best guidance I can give you is to go on your own journey and be conscious of whether or not you are resisting things in your own mind. And if you are resisting something, I mean, decide if it's something you want to let go of. Stop resisting if you're holding back against something. And I'm not trying, when I say that, I'm not trying to put thoughts in your head. I'm not trying to chivvy you to feel a certain way. I don't know what's in your mind or what you're going through. All I know is that, to clarify what I was saying in my previous video, I just realized I needed to go on a journey, and I'm glad I did. Anyway, I know that probably, again, does not give the answers you wanted, but I think it was something important to say, and I look forward to doing more videos, hopefully, and I'm working on a lot of things. I know it's shameless self-promotion, but Axis of Empires has taken up a great deal of my time. I've been very focused on that, which is my new band, as I refer to. I'm working on a new novel, and I'm making a lot of progress on that. And in all matters, I want to go forward as not as somebody who is attempting to bestow the answers on people, but rather someone who is documenting what he has learned. And I think that's what I need to do to be someone that I can live with. Anyway, thank you for indulging me in this, and I look forward to your thoughts in the comments section.